something to eat?
I got some chicken, shrimp, and then I made this.
You made what type of shrimp with that mashed potato? Is that what you bought for you to eat?
Did you want some? So get my answer. Too long to say something. You want some?
No. No. Why you
Well,
didn't
you
pack?
going to Publix?
Well, why you didn't pack you nothing? Why you didn't pack you none of your shrimp and mashed potato?
So I'm thinking.
Mm.
You there when I get back?
Mm-hmm.
You done broke her arm. You done broke her arm. Doing some shit they weren't supposed to be doing.
Public sound just is getting loud. Or maybe it was because of the area I was in. I don't know, but.
Call Nicole. How can I help you?
Hi, my name's Dave with U.S. Medical Supplies.
Fucked up.
Hello?
You get my text?
Yeah, I responded back.
Oh, I didn't get it yet. Something wrong with your phone. It must be black. Anyway, we should.
No, it said it was delivered.
Oh, okay. We should be there by 5:30.
Still going to Fayetteville. I mean, y'all in Fayetteville.
Well, we're gonna come to your house.
Or what?
So what you say?
I think so.
So, y'all just come to hang out with him?
You don't want us to come hang out with you?
I'm just saying, I don't have anything at my house. I'm just saying, like,
Well,
y'all hanging out late.
We need to go shopping for tomorrow, right? I mean, for the
Sunday.
I
for Sunday.
thought we was doing all that in Fayetteville. I didn't know you wanted to
Sound
put
like
in
she don't
Durham
want-
and drag all that.
Sound like she
It's
don't
not
want-
that. This is still an hour and 30 minutes away, so I don't know why would you want to buy groceries in Durham.
We want to come hang out with you. Is that a problem?
I mean, it's just I don't have nothing here. Like my house
That's
ain't up to
okay.
par. I mean, I've been depressed, so my house is dirty and stuff.
We
so I don't
can
really
get us a room or
have
something.
people.
You want us to just go to Fayetteville and you come to Fayettille?
Y'all can do what y'all want. Just my house is just not
Ask you a
prepared for
question.
guests. That's all I was
We can
asking.
go get the hotel and go to Fayetteville and you just meet us at the hotel. Want to do that?
Yeah, y'all can do that.
LaShawn, you gotta make that a change. All right, we going to Fayetteville. We'll see you at Cross Creek Mall. You gonna do the thing?
I mean, only if you want to help me clean up. You can come help
She
me
don't
clean
want
up.
to. She don't want
You gonna help me cut? I'm saying you gonna come cut my grass.
I know we going to Fayetteville.
I mean, if y'all gonna help me clean, I would appreciate. I mean,
We're gonna be tired.
yeah.
We're tired. We
Yeah,
will
but
be
my
tired.
backyard need to be cut.
I just cut mine. We can watch you cut it.
Hey, why would you say that?
I just cut mine.
Oh my God.
I got cut again.
Okay, look. So we'll just get us we'll go to Fayetteville. We'll get a room big enough for you to come and just stay. We'll get 2 beds instead of 1 bed. How about that? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you stay with us at the hotel.
Okay.
We're gonna go swimming.
All right. I'll meet y'all in Fayetteville.
You know the address to the hotel, Stomach?
Well, let me.
No,
book-
just-
I
just
gotta,
send
Oh, she'll text it to you.
book
She
it.
got
just send
it.
I gotta rebook.
We just can't. We'll rebook it again.
Okay.
All right, love you.
Love you, baby.
All right. What do you say?
So you was just gonna pop up on
I told her I was coming. Now I see all this depressed shit. See, that's why I wanted to go, because the depressed stuff.
You gonna stay here?
Hell yeah. You gonna be long?
No, because I'm not. You
I
don't
gotta
want.
set the direction.
You don't want the sandwiches, right? Because you don't want the sandwiches.
Whatever
right?
you
We're
eat,
gonna
if-
pick up something.
We'll pick something up, whatever.
And you, let me know, because I'm gonna get medicine, so I need to
Just get your medicine.
and
Yeah. What's up, 50 Again? This is your boy Doug. I'm taking y'all for a little ride. We're going to North Carolina. See my mom. She turns 83. 2 more days. So we're gonna take a little ride. You're gonna ride with us, listen to a little music, crack a few jokes. Me and 50 Gang. You know what? Try to have a good time. So my situation I talked about with the post office. I showed up for court yesterday. Didn't go too well. I had the right idea, but wrong setting. I should have pled guilty because, man, I showed up for court. Me against the post office. They showed up 5 deep, and it was just me. They asked me did I want to ask them any questions. I said no. They all accused me of saying fuck you. One of those employees said they said fuck you too. They asked me did I know if any kids was around. I said I wasn't looking. I was looking straight in front of me when it got heated. I said the situation got heated. All 4 of them accused me of saying fuck you. I didn't have any witnesses to say I didn't say fuck you. It's a crime in the state of Georgia to use profanity in front of a minor in a federal building. Code, you know how they got code section, something numbers about the code. The use of profanity in front of a minor in government property. I didn't even know you can. I didn't even know that was against the law. You cuss all the time in front of the children. So they ruled against me. I should have pled not guilty, but I just wanted to make a point. I didn't give a damn what was going to happen. I just wanted to make a point. I have a problem with the post office. I've always had a problem with the post office, and I thought this was my chance to express my feelings on how I feel about them. And I thought that was the perfect place to do it. So in order to get in front of a judge, I pled not guilty because I just wanted to go in front of a judge and say what I had to say. So I didn't want to plead not guilty because then they would have took me to the side, gave me a fine, and I would have been not heard. I wanted to be heard. Basically, that's why I chose not guilty because I wanted to be heard. I felt it was bigger than me. So I lost. I paid me a little stupid little fine. But I at least got it off my chest for how they work. The post office thinks they're above the law. They think they can tell you what they think they can make you buy what they want you to buy. They were shaking down people to make them repackage their item. And I just wasn't having it. I had enough of them. I mean, they knocked my mailbox down 3 times. They mail all over the place. Long lines. It's just that I wanted to complain about their service. And maybe I should have picked another setting like City Hall. When they have a City Hall meeting, I could have brought it up then, or at the Homeowners Association. But that was not what they were for. I was there to defend myself against disorderly conduct. I tried to make it more than that. And I've been struggling with it because I had to figure out I did it wrong. It was the wrong setting. I just wanted to tell somebody in a court forum. I should have filed a lawsuit against her. That's what I should have done, something of that nature. But I chose to use a case I tried to make a case of disorderly conduct more than what it was. That's all it was disorderly conduct. And I tried to make it more than what it was. And then what it was, the defense attorney, he wasn't allowing me to stray from disorderly conduct. So he did his job to keep it to the point, keep it to why I was there. And I kept trying to stray away from disorderly conduct. I just wanted to make a point. And I'm lost. I learned my lesson now. When you go in for the charge dependent, it's only about the charge. You want to have are concerned about an issue, you need to take it to the appropriate place like City Hall, or you need to contact the Postmaster General. You need to take the appropriate avenues, and I took the inappropriate avenues. So I see why we mistake. I lost. I learned. So waiting on 50 gang to come out of the store. Then we headed to a hotel. Try to cleanse my mind. We'll be coming back home with a fresh start. I thought you were just getting medicine. I thought you were just getting medicine.
Yeah.
It's a whole...
That's what I have to put it. I have to put it on ice off rather.
Oh. You done?
Yes. Now we just ride and eat, I guess. You good on your gas?
Yep.
You need to stop somewhere.
right. Maybe they tried. It had no impact on the election. The scandal is this, that high-ranking Democrats abuse their intelligence positions to try to convince half the American people and one entire political party that Russia stole the 2016 election. And they succeeded. Today it is an article of faith among Democrats.
How did they? I think, Scott, you have to actually back that up. How did they do that, in your opinion?
By doing this. Like I said, they act like they have no idea. Like just exactly how. Let me show you. Since you're on news and you have a channel and you have a show on CNN, but obviously you have a reading comprehension problem. How exactly did they do that? This was last night. This was last night, and you have a host of a of a show on a network who completely doesn't even want anyone to see this. Tell me exactly how they did that. And that's why he's got that look on his face, like, huh? Have you not been paying attention? Are your weaves too tight in your head? Well, maybe you want to go back to the salon and have them loosen that stuff up. You paid too much for that horsehair because it's pulling your brain apart. Well, how do we know that? Have you not been paying attention? Your job, your one job is to pay attention to news.
I mean, you're alleging that there was a conspiracy led by Obama to say that...
Look at Scott's face. He's probably thinking to himself, what in the hell is wrong with these people? How?
It's not alleging, it's declassified.
Are you so stupid?
Which means that
do none of the people who watch this channel have any idea what has happened in the last couple of days?
Not know what
you're alleging that.
Means?
No, I'm not. Documents, you idiot. This is perfect proof. Don't read anything, just listen to me.
Russia changed the votes, which they did not say. So what are you talking about exactly?
I'm telling you that the program was this. They were shocked that Donald Trump won the election. They couldn't believe it. No. And so these people, I don't know who is responsible for it ultimately, but it deserves investigation.
Oh, wait a minute, just a minute ago, you were saying the Wall Street Journal...
Why don't you let me finish?
By the way, that smiling Jack dude sitting next to the guy in the black suit, if you didn't know before, now you know. That's Jeff Flake, I believe I think it's Jeff Flake is his name. He was a Republican who hated Trump and got run out of Senate or the Congress. I think it was Senator. And then he came down to Florida and tried to be the president of the University of Florida. They ran him out of here too. He hates Trump. He hates everything about Trump. And now he's just a smiling Jack on CNN. But now you get to hear this black guy just, oh my God, are you saying something bad about Obama? No. Oh my God.
These people wanted the American people to believe it was an illegitimate president. That was the point.
The Obama deep state, multiple officials. Yes. So what about
I sat here night after night on panel after panel.
Let's all calm down.
Let's all calm down, she says. Your show has degenerated into a sophomore pablum fest. Nobody there wants to talk about the actual truth, or, as I keep showing my prop here, the actual documents. And so you're all just pretending like you know better than the paper that we just saw. Notice, she's there. She could have had it printed out and probably sure there's a producer somewhere. Can you go print out Tulsi's documents? Can we see Tulsi's documents?
Down now. Okay, listen. Is Marco Rubio in the Obama deep state?
No, but this is
Marco Rubio in the Obama deep state?
No, but you are.
How is that? Okay, let's just bring it back to the facts here. Is Marco Rubio in the Obama deep state?
Did he author the Steele dossier?
Okay, Senator, Ambassador. Let me go to you on this because there was.
All right. So this is the argument that they've been making, that Tulsi pretty much shut down yesterday. That argument is, hey, Marco Rubio was part of this committee and he signed off on everything as, there's no problem here. And the answer to her question isn't was Marco Rubio on the committee. The question is, what information was Marco Rubio relying on? You see, all the stuff the Democrats do right now, even if you want to go all the way back to our founding fathers, they never imagined this type of criminal activity. There's no way anybody could foresee that there would be a party who would do this kind of stuff. And so when they say, and you should know this, when they say, wasn't Marco Rubio involved in this? Yeah, but he was only relying on the information that he was given. So there's your easy answer. Yeah, Marco read the report, just like everybody else read the report, and went, okay, this is the information I have. He didn't have what Comey and Brennan and Clapper were cooking up. So there's your answer. It's a very simple one. He didn't have the report. But now this is why they brought in smiling Jeff Flake. I guess his name is Blake. I call him Flaky. Because he's going to pretend like, oh yeah, Marco knew.
There was a bipartisan committee that looked into this. That bipartisan committee was led in part by Marco Rubio. Mm-hmm. And they concluded what? What did they conclude? Was it that Russia interfered in the election or that Russia did not?
Well, Russia interfered. They always do. Okay.
So is Marco Rubio...
It didn't change a vote.
It did, but what do people believe? What do people believe?
So hold on. Is this about...
She won't accept it. She thinks she's got her hook. She's got her flunky, flaky. That's, hey, yeah, Marco was there. But she's not looking again at the documents. And that's why Scott gets so frustrated, because they get up there and they pontificate, and their entire existence is to lie to everybody that's watching their show, to make Scott look like he is. Scott, you're kind of your elevator doesn't go all the way to the top, bro.
Same place.
No,
when in essence,
okay,
his
so
does, and theirs does too. See, let's not pretend. I think she's Harvard educated. She's not stupid. But she's, like I said with the Geddy Lee and Rush song, she's an actor. She's playing a role on each other's audience. This is what we're seeing in news. These people aren't stupid.
Put search.
They're highly educated. They got into this and made money and realized, I can make money just being a stooge. And I don't have any, I guess, personal awareness.
What's the address?
Hold on, baby. I'm trying to read everything before I hit submit.
Are those two things the same, or are they different?
Abby, why would they believe it?
Because I do think that if you are accusing people, if you are accusing people of crimes, okay,
I don't know if it's criminal,
you might want to have your facts in order, because you
facts are this.
Scott got too wrapped up in this because he should have came to the set with the whole thing printed out. My facts? You mean these? Her condescending way, her evil way of being so kind, you might want to come in with your facts. See, Trump, that would have never worked with Trump, because you saw him today with Jerome Powell. Hey man, this thing's so over budget. It's like $3 billion over budget. What? It's not $3 billion over budget.
That was so fucked up.
You sure? Hey Tim, you got it?
Tim's like, that nigga up.
Yeah, it's $3 billion over budget.
You see that shit?
I don't know anything about that.
Man,
of course
that
you
was
don't.
Embarrassing.
And that's what you have to do with these people. You need to confront them. Talking to them is not going to work. They will try to shout you down, whether it's personal or even family.
Remember I told you about the guy that's keeping the interest rate
See
high?
this?
Oh, he embarrassed that son.
Shout at
His
this.
contract is not up right now, so
And it leads them nowhere to
he's just
go.
embarrassing
Then they
them
just
in
run
public.
away and
Let
go to
them
the
know
store
he's
or whatever.
incompetent.
Go home. If you're gonna
Pull
fight fire, you
goddamn
better come
documents
armed
out
with
on
a
that
big
ass.
ass hose.
Because it's doing like this.
Because
No,
these
no,
people
he
are
said,
armed
oh,
for,
yeah.
for bear with lies and deception. They
It was
use
so
these
embarrassing.
things. These are the arrows in their quiver, and if you don't have your documentation to show them, they're gonna eat you alive.
Right in front of the camera.
Scott, you
That's
can,
what they
Scott,
do.
you can filibustering all night.
You cannot criminalize. You cannot target people
I didn't
with the
criminalize
law
anything. I think it deserves investigation.
by saying that they authored an
I have no
assessment that
authority
says
to target
in
anybody.
plain
Have you
text
decided
what
something?
Russia. Hold on a second. It says in plain text what Russia did in the election, and then you want to punish them for what people believe.
Yes, I want to punish them and investigate them.
That is absolutely
Leading the United States down this ridiculous black hole.
I cannot believe a host. She looks like somebody I knew in college and has stayed that look her entire life. She looks like a sophomore in college. And has no
So when we finish
idea.
with
Well, she
Mama on
obviously has an
Sunday,
idea,
we
but
go.
she's so good at what she does. She's very good.
Okay.
See, that's one of the
Well, you
problems
gotta
that
be to
people
work.
have when they
Monday.
don't watch these news channels. You need to watch these news channels, just like Trump said, so you can see what the enemy is doing. And you can see she's so good, she's so persuasive, she's out there with her horsehair,
right.
and she's got all the makeup
We
on,
are
and she's got
now.
5 other people on the panel who are willing to attack the conservative, and none of it is factual.
Touch the search.
None of it. And nobody at home who
type
watches this stuff understands what the problem is. And I pointed out what the
Use your
problem
finger.
was earlier. And I'm telling you this because you're gonna get this kind of argument.
Use my statue.
You're gonna
Say the address.
It's ready.
Go.
1720 Skibo Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. I said 28.
Touch it.
refute it. The whole time, one of the reasons why I hit this segment is I'm waiting for somebody to say the documents that Tulsi came out with are fake. Nobody. You will find that. You're going to go tonight and go flip on channels. Nobody's saying it's fake. And so it's a lot of yelling and blah, 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 and insulting. You're stupid. Yeah, he's stupid. But nobody's talking about the facts of the matter. You have to ask yourself why when you watch these people.
One in response to Scott and one about the whole conversation. First of all, in the last segment, Scott was complaining because the Wall Street Journal was reporting factually based sourced argument, sourced information,
unverified hearsay was confirmed.
factually
Go
based
ahead.
sourced information,
Unverified hearsay.
and now he comes on making wild accusations
They're not wild.
with no factual basis. So there's a hypocrisy there.
What-
But
what-
wait.
I know it's separable. You guys are like, I can't watch it. Please watch it. Because you have to see what the scheme is. And I feel for Scott, because you walk in there knowing you're going into the belly of the beast, and you got no facts. And I was just hoping that somebody would come out, one of the producers would tap Scott on the shoulder and slide him the note and go, here. Here's the 100 pages of fact. Because they're counting on most people not seeing the documentation.
You just spent the last half hour, Scott. You spent the last half hour monopolizing
Anna, just give me 1 second. Let me let Keith finish his point, and
Jesus
then we can
Christ.
continue. Go
I
ahead,
wouldn't.
Keith.
First of all, I wouldn't take
please,
the Lord's
just-
name in vain on
Well, you
Scott.
have, pretty much. So
Scott, please.
sensitively.
See, I like that Scott said that. And to them, it doesn't mean anything. So that right there should tell you, when you're talking to some people, that their honesty isn't a virtue. They're not credible people in the form of, I can't lie. If you're willing to say things like, GD and on television, then that's telling everybody else. Then the rest of the words out of your mouth, I can't trust it. I can't trust, because, you know, and then people say, well, you didn't have to be a Christian. I don't care what he is, but I can't trust what comes out of his mouth next, because he's told me he's got a forked tongue. Barry, you can't say that about people. Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, I live my life that way. If as far as I'm concerned, if somebody did something like that, the conversation is over. Hey, listen, I hope everything works out for you. I'm a bounce. I got nothing to talk to you. I've told you many a times. When I meet people before I get into conversation, hey, can a man become a woman? I can't help you. I'm out. There's nothing to talk about. You have set up a wall at this point that you are telling me that you are not a reasonable person to have a discussion with. I cannot discuss anything with you. I can't even discuss what's on a menu if you tell me you believe that a man can become a woman. And if you guys feel that way, you can have that argument. I'm like, why are you going to argue? Somebody is fantasizing. They have come up with a new lord, little L. What? I'm done. I don't got nothing for you.
Secondly, and this is the point that I think is the larger issue. This conversation is exactly the conversation Donald Trump wants us to be having. He doesn't want us to talk about the Epstein scandal, so he threw up Tulsi Gabbard to bring out this old, unsubstantiated charge against Barack Obama, who was 3 presidents ago, to get Scott Jennings on national television, to get his base talking about that issue. It's all part of Donald Trump's plan, and Scott's playing right into it. We should be talking about how the Epstein scandal is preventing Congress from doing its job, preventing them from talking about jobs and health care and education and affordable housing, preventing them from doing the American people's work. But Scott is working with Donald Trump to get you talking about Barack Obama, who's not even the president.
Carolina.
Wow. Scott, I know they must be paying you a lot, bro, but at some point you got to go, is this worth it? These people are stone cold nuts. Wow.
I would argue that Democrats are really, I would actually argue that Democrats are really having a heyday with the Epstein scandal instead of focusing on the things that matter, like inflation and even the Medicaid reform, if they really want to go there. But I think we're getting a little confused about what this Russia bombshell actually is. It's saying, actually it is. It's showing that Obama was indeed the architect of the Russian collusion hoax. Because he fed fake intelligence to the media, which served as the basis for multiple...
Tinfoil hats, he's yelling. Because they can't confront her. They can't confront you. Oh, it's some sort of fantasy that you're making up. I'm tired of picking it up, but I want you to keep having that picture in your head of Barry waving documents. Tinfoil hat. How is it tinfoil when I got it here? Can you imagine sitting in a conversation with 5 or 6 people, 5, 6 friends, family members, and them telling you you're nuts because you're a Trump supporter, you're maggots, and everything else, and they're completely ignoring here. You're chasing an Epstein list. Understand that. They are chasing an Epstein list that they haven't seen, while ignoring the list that they have seen. Tulsi Gabbard dropped 100+ pages of list that you people don't even want to acknowledge exist, and you're chasing a ghost over here that you're hoping exists. There has been 0 evidence of some sort of black book or list. None. Everyone's talked about it for years, but you have to imagine right now that there may not be a list, there may be a file, there may be something on a hard drive. There's no black book. And they're talking to Ghislaine Maxwell right now, and they're still trying to find out if the book exists, if the list exists.
She definitely
Meanwhile,
talking.
I don't have any ifs.
She's trying to get her ass out of jail. She's telling everything.
I don't have any doubt. It's sitting right here. Why don't you talk about what's actually in your hand? I can show it to you. But right now, the cover-up is wild.
What exactly was he the architect of?
He's the one who gave his officials gave the assessment to the media that was derived from the discredited Steele dossier.
What did the assessment say?
Oh, it hurts. I know it must hurt you. What did the assessment say?
Can you read from, dummy?
On which one of these pages, you moron? She went on television.
Not ready.
I forget what time her show comes on. 10 o'clock or so. She comes after Caitlin. And she went on show knowing that they were going to talk about this, and she's playing completely stupid. What did it say? What document? The one right flipping here. Makes me mad that these people who were going to talk about it didn't bring it with them.
Yeah.
They had to. They probably said to themselves, "There's no conceivable way that she didn't know that there weren't." So she's pretending. And all the other ones are pretending to their audience that there's nothing there. What are you talking about? What ICA? I don't know.
Dossier?
What did the assessment say? The IC assessment, what did it say?
The assessment was derived from the Steele dossier, which said that Trump was accused.
What did it actually say? Not what is it derived from. What did it actually say? What was the conclusion of the IC assessment?
I'm not going to
I've said it
The conclusion was that the Russians tried to meddle in the elections, that they had done all sorts of things, but that there was no evidence that they had changed the result.
That they changed the votes. That is not what it said.
If you don't know
But also,
in any case.
Also, listen.
In any case.
This though.
Yes.
Okay. So we are here saying, or some of you are saying that high-level Democrats were trying to get half the country to believe that Donald Trump had not legitimately won the election. What I saw was Barack Obama greet then President-elect Trump in 2016 at the White House. I saw him properly transition.
So because he met him at the White House, it meant that nothing was going on behind the scenes? How many men and women are in relationships where the other person is smiling in their faces and stooping somebody in behind the scenes? Oh, I know. How about the whole Coldplay thing? I bet you that dude's wife and that woman's husband were like, oh, she loves me. He loves me. How's everything going, honey? Oh, I'm just working late at work. Yeah, okay. I'll be home a little bit late tonight. Yeah, love you. And you're dancing at the Coldplay concert. So she's trying to tell you that because he showed up and shook hands, that nothing could have happened. He was being a good host. Everything was fine. You have to be that stupid to listen to these people.
With the Trump team, I saw him be at the swearing in of Donald Trump. I did not see him trying to lead an insurrection and fan the flames or stop the way that the House was going to certify the election. What did Donald Trump do when Joe Biden won? None of those things. None of those things.
Listen, I
just said what I said to you was
Scott, I'm sorry, but hold on a second, guys. We really have to go to break. But
President
we have to go
Donald
to
Trump
break.
did not treat.
I didn't mean to make that painful. I meant to show that to you for the mere fact of, as Trump has said, watching what your enemy thinks and understanding if you have any belief that these people are going to come back, they're not coming back. They are your enemy. You're going to have to admit it to yourself at this point. They're never coming back. As much as we would want to pray and say, hope these people come back, they're not coming back. And these people are the worst because I don't even know what they believe, but their objective is to hoodwink the people who do watch them, which is maybe why their audience is dwindling. But at the same time, if their audiences are dwindling, if Colbert's getting fired, then how the hell are certain pollsters out there saying, oh, midterms are in trouble?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Can I ask you about those young people, they just said too much winning. Too much winning, sir, they know it. And it is a lot of winning. We had the best 6 months ever. We're now heading to Scotland. I'm meeting with the Prime Minister of UK. Some of you are going, I guess, and a lot of you aren't. Are you going? Huh? Well, you got to get moving. That's a good one. That's going to be a good one. So we have great numbers we just announced. I don't have to go over it because you've seen them, but we have great economic numbers. The deal with Japan is amazing. You give us $550 billion, and we have totally open access into Japan. Those numbers are great. I mean, the kids actually just said, very, very cute, actually. I walked up, they said, sir, there's too much winning. They picked up on a little routine, you know. Go ahead.
Mr. President, can I ask you about the DOJ lawsuit that you filed yesterday against New York City Mayor Adams? In the lawsuit, they named the CBP officer and the lawsuit even was shot. And your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's DOJ going against New York, but we're going against a lot of other places too. We want to bring safety to our cities, but that's a pretty, that's going to be a pretty routine filing with other cities too. As you know, we've started numerous lawsuits with other cities. We want to bring safety. We've got to get the criminals out, and we're doing it in record numbers. Yeah, Gaza, they pulled out of Gaza. They pulled out in terms of negotiating. It was too bad. Hamas didn't really want to make a deal. I think they want to die, and it's very, very bad. And it got to be to a point where you're going to have to finish the job. They really, they asked for things. Don't forget, we got a lot of hostages out. So now we're down to the final hostages, and they know what happens after you get the final hostages. And basically, because of that, they really didn't want to make a deal. I saw that. So they pulled out, and they're going to have to fight, and they're going to have to clean it up. You're going to have to get rid of it.
They don't want to negotiate no more. Get them last one hostages out. You know what happened?
Well, I don't know about the meeting. I know it's taking place. And, he's a fantastic man. He's a great attorney. And people should really focus on how well the country's doing, or they should focus on the fact that Barack Hussein Obama led a coup, or they should focus on the fact that Larry Summers from Harvard, that Bill Clinton, who you know very well, and lots of other friends, really close friends of Jeffrey Summers, should be spoken about. Because, you know, Jeffrey Epstein should be spoken about. And they should speak about them, because they don't talk about them. They talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
Are you considering doing any business deals with the UK?
Yeah, I'm going to meet with the Prime Minister right now. We're going to be over there in about 6 hours. We're meeting with the Prime Minister tonight. We're going to be talking about the trade deal that we made, and maybe even improve it.
Are you considering
right outside the gates of the White House? Are you concerned about that?
I think it's terrible, and we'll have them removed immediately. We do remove it. We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. This city has to be run. You know, I have the right to take it over, and I think it's terrible. Where are they? Where did you see them?
Right outside on Pennsylvania Avenue.
By the near the Treasury.
Right across the Have you heard about John Lansing's interview with Elaine Maxwell?
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
You did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter with my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
How many times you played with that?
We'll take care of it.
Damn, Hillary, she's not on there.
Bringing hostages home. What are the alternative methods to bring hostages home?
Well, we got a lot of them out, and it's I've always said those last 10 or 20 are going to be the toughest, because Hamas knows what happens when they don't have any bargaining chips. And they really broke a deal. They broke a deal, and you're going to have to do what you have to do right now. It's a terrible thing. And I always do that. I said, when you get down to the last one, they're not going to be able to make a deal.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out?
She's going to get herself out of jail.
Why has the dollar fallen so much? And are you concerned about that?
You can't blame her.
Well, you know, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar.
Tell everybody.
But a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money. Hate to tell you, I don't know if you study it, but I study it. And if you look at the yen,
I went to Penn and Wharton, so I know this.
you understand.
Absolutely.
Oh, you did go to
I went to Wharton, yes,
well, that
sir.
means you're a smarter guy than I even thought, and I know you're smart. So, when we have a strong dollar, one thing happens. It sounds good. But you don't do any tourism, you can't sell tractors, you can't sell trucks, you can't sell anything. It is good for inflation. That's about it. And we have about inflation. But it's an interesting question. So I will never say I like a low currency, but you remember the battles I had with the yuan, with China and with Japan, Japan being the yen. They always wanted a weak currency. They're trying to get a weak currency.
You have a message.
More money with a weaker dollar, not a weak dollar, but a weaker dollar than you do with a strong dollar. And the first people that are going to notice it are the manufacturers of trucks and various other things. Like, look at Caterpillar, how well they're doing now. When you have a strong dollar, you can't sell anything. It's only good for inflation, and it's good psychologically. It makes you feel good. But with that being said, I love strong dollars. But you make your money with a currency. And I had so many different fights with President Xi, with between Japan and China. All they want to do is have a weak currency. They're always fighting for a weak currency. And that's how they really dominated over the years. So when I see it down there, I don't lose sleep over it, let's put it that way. In fact, sometimes I go to sleep very happy. You understand? Do you agree with that?
I agree with a lot of what you said, Mr. President. Do you think it makes any easier to impose your tariff with that lower dollar? Because
I think it makes it easier even for tariffs, yeah. And it makes the tariffs worth much more. And it's easier to pay off debt. And it's easier to get a low interest rate, too. There are a lot of good things. It's hard to explain to people. The headline, Trump wants a weak dollar. It's not a weak dollar. You take a look at the history of China over the last 20 years. All they do is fight for a weak currency. Look at Japan when they were really doing well. They had a very weak currency. So, to me, I just say, thank you very much. It is what it is.
what's your comment on Israel? To be given up on a Gaza ceasefire?
Well, the Gaza situation, and I said this was going to happen, when you get down to your last 10 or 20, we got a lot of hostages out. We took them out in numbers that nobody believed, a lot of them. And I said, when you get down to 10 or 20, I don't think Hamas is going to make a deal, because that means they have no protection. And basically that's what happened. Hamas didn't want to make a deal. I think what's going to happen is they're going to be hunted down.
Secondary sanctions sooner on Russia. Are you closer today to secondary sanctions?
We're looking at that whole situation. It could be that we'll have to put secondary sanctions on.
Sooner than 50 days?
Maybe, yeah.
Do you think it's
Who you with? Who you with?
Fox News.
Oh, good.
Counterproductive to France, for France to say that they would recognize the Palestinian state. Macron said that yesterday.
Look, he's a different kind of a guy. He's okay. He's a team player, pretty much. But here's the good news. What he says doesn't matter. You know, it's not going to change it. Well, he made a statement, France, grown. The statement doesn't carry any weight. He's a very good guy. I like him, but that statement doesn't carry weight.
How close is the trade deal with the EU?
I would say that we have a 50-50 chance, maybe less than that, but a 50-50 chance of making a deal with the EU. and it'll be a deal where they have to buy down their tariff, because they're right now at 30%. And they'll have to buy them down, maybe, or they could leave them the way they are. But they want to make a deal very badly. I would have said we have a 25% chance with Japan, and they kept coming back, and we made a deal, and the deal is, don't forget, Japan's putting up $550 billion. It's a lot of money. And also paying tariffs. The biggest part of the Japan deal, and maybe we get this with EU, maybe we don't, is that we have the right to go in and trade. We have the right. They've totally opened Japan to just to the U.S. That's, to me, the biggest part of the deal.
What about nuclear disarmament? You said repeatedly you would like to see further nuclear arms reductions between the United States and
like
Russia.
to see that.
But the new START treaty is expiring in about 6 months, and it cannot be legally extended.
That's a problem. That's a problem for the world.
A new one.
It's a problem for the world. You know, we have restrictions, and they have restrictions, as you know, on nuclear. That's not an agreement you want expiring. We're starting to work on that, but that is a big problem for the world. When you take off nuclear restrictions, that's a big problem for the world. I think that Jerome Powell, I think we had a very good meeting. Forgetting about the building, that's out of control. But I think we had a very good meeting on interest rates. And he said to me, now I don't know if he's going to say this on Thursday or whenever he speaks, but he said to me very strongly, the country is doing well. He said, congratulations, the country is doing really well. And I got that to mean that I think he's going to start recommending lower rates.
Because of that conversation?
How do you think that the Supreme
The country really is doing well.
Mr. President, how do you think that
record is?
Did you speak to Netanyahu?
Thank you, Mr. President. How do you think that the Supreme Court's ruling that benefited you on presidential immunity would apply to former President Barack Obama and what you're accusing him of doing?
Yeah, it probably helps him a lot. Probably helps him a lot, the immunity ruling. But it doesn't help the people around him at all. But it probably helps him a lot. He's done criminal acts, there's no question about it. But he has immunity, and it probably helps him a lot.
Trade agreement you're looking to sign
He
too.
owes me big. Obama owes me big.
What are the details in the UK trade agreement you're hoping to sign soon with the Prime Minister?
This week we want to talk about certain aspects which is going to be good for both countries. More fine-tuning, and also we're going to do a little celebrating together because, you know, we got along very well. UK's been trying to make a deal with us for like 12 years and haven't been able to do it. We got it done. He's doing a very good job, good Prime Minister, good guy. We really get along very well. So we're going to meet at Turnberry and we're going to meet at Aberdeen. So two beautiful places.
Is there wiggle room in steel and aluminum if they were to budge on digital services tax? Is there any wiggle room on steel and aluminum in exchange for any budge on digital?
Not a lot, because if I do it for one, I have to do it for all. So on that, steel and aluminum, not a lot.
President, will you speak to Netanyahu about aid drops? Mr. President, do you speak to Netanyahu about allowing aid drops in Gaza from Arab countries?
I speak to him, but I can't tell you what I spoke to him about. But it was sort of disappointing, although I told you. I told you, when you get down to those last 20 hostages, you get down to that last 10 or 20, it's going to be very hard for Hamas to make a deal because they lose their shield, they lose their cover.
Yeah, right.
We got a lot of them out. A lot of them. We took a lot of bodies out too. You know, so many of the parents said, please get my son's body back. And we're able to do that. We got a lot of people out, live and people that are not alive. But it was very important to the parents to get their son back, even though they knew their son was dead.
Are we able to get the Open Championship back to Turnberry?
I think they will do that, yeah. Turnberry is rated the #1 course in the world. I think they'll do that, yeah.
And are you going to talk to anybody
No,
about
I'm not
that?
going to. It's not about that. I'm going to see it for the first time in years. You were there the last time we went. That's pretty good, right? No, it's the best resort in the world, I think, at Turnberry, and it's one of the greatest courses in the world. We're going to see it. We're going to have, I believe, dinner at Turnberry with the Prime Minister. Then we're going to go to the oil capital of Europe, which is Aberdeen, and we're going to have lunches there. We're going to have a good time. I think the Prime Minister and I get along very well.
You're going to see the Scottish leader too, right? Swinney, John
I am.
Swinney.
I am.
What's that about?
Well, we have a lot of things in Scotland. I have a lot of love. My brother was born in Scotland, and he's a good man. The Scottish leader's a good man, so I look forward to meeting him. That's all set up, right?
Paris Day is exactly 1 week from today, August the 1st. What do you expect between now and next Friday as it relates to your deadline?
When you say tariff, not Paris.
Paris.
Paris. I think you said Paris Day.
No, Paris Day.
Well, most of the deals are finished right now. They're finished because we're just going to charge a certain tariff. A lower tariff that I could get. I don't want to hurt country. But we're going to send a letter out sometime during the week. And it's basically going to say you're going to pay 10%, you're going to pay 15%, you're going to pay maybe less. I don't know. But Australia was great. They opened up beef yesterday for the first time ever. And they did it. We didn't know about it. We asked them to do it, and all of a sudden we got a word that they wanted. So obviously they're looking to do something. But Australia. So August 1st is going to come, and we will have most of our deals finished, if not all. We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariff. Not really a negotiation. We're working very diligently with Europe, the EU, which covers a lot of territory, a lot of countries, and that's the big one right now. We have the confines of a deal with China. We haven't really. We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
When you send out those letters, do you believe that will bring some certainty to the financial market? Because then they will.
No. When those letters go out, there's a page and a half. That means they have a deal. It's done. They pay that tariff, and that is a contract essentially. And they can come into the country. They're going to pay a tariff. I'm going to keep it minimal. I'm going to keep it. I'm not looking to hurt countries. I could do that too, but I'm not looking to do that. But when that letter goes out, that's a deal. And we'll be sending maybe close to 200 of those letters out. Don't forget, we have a lot of countries. So we're going to be sending out almost 200 of those letters. But once those letters go out, there we have a deal. Now, we sent one to Japan, we sent one to EU, and they came back and negotiated a deal. I think EU has got a pretty good chance of making a deal.
With all of that revenue coming in, Mr. President,
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Our country was a dead country. It was a dead country 1 year ago. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And don't you feel it?
Mr. President, with all of that revenue coming in, tens of billions of dollars, do you think there's the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually. We have so much money coming in. We're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question. You just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much.
What's the signal? Where y'all chat? No signal.
You just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in from tariffs that a little rebate for people of a certain income level might be very nice.
Oh, he does talk. Go ahead.
People don't know this, and we didn't certainly get any acknowledgement or thank you, but we contributed $60 million to food and supplies and everything else. We hope the money gets there, because, you know, that money gets taken, the food gets taken. We're going to do more, but we gave a lot of money. We gave a majority of the money, and the sad part is that no other country other than us gives anything.
Have you spoken to Michael Walkley about running for that North Carolina?
I have, yeah.
And will he run, do you think?
I think he will.
Our teacher shortages, so what can be done to get more?
Are you from North Carolina?
My father lives there.
He'll be a good
So
candidate.
what can be done to bring more teachers, more educators into the classrooms to alleviate the teacher shortage across the country?
We're doing that, and we're doing it strongly. What we're doing is moving education back to the states. The states will run education. When they do it, you're going to have the best education in the world. We'll have 35 or 40 states where it will be as good as Sweden, Norway, Denmark, you know, the top 5 or 6 countries.
On your track, the top talent, top teachers to get into the class.
We're going to get them. We already have them. When we go back to the states with education, you're going to see a big difference.
What the teacher system got? They got a union. Broke up the union. They allow people that don't want to be in
it. He's a great gentleman. He's a great man. He's a great lawyer. He's got a great heart. But he's over there now. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I certainly can't talk about Carter.
Can you trust what she's telling him? She's a convicted trafficker who's eager to get out of prison.
Well, you know, he's a professional lawyer. I think he's been through things like this before. But you know, you should focus on Clinton. You should focus on the president of Harvard, the former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys lived with Jeffrey Epstein. I sure as hell didn't. Thank you very much.
He's giving out the names, baby. He know more than he's telling, man. They live with him. Hey.
Now we have the hottest country in the world. All I want him to do is lower interest rates. Because that'll take care of the house.
Still ain't that.
It's a little bit slower than everything else. Everything we're 100% up. But the house is just great. If he lowers it, you're going to see houses go much up. He got the hottest country.
That's it. That was looking this way.
Look around.
I have to look, make sure we get, it's your job to bring it to my attention because you're the navigator. I am the pilot.
Okay. Pilot. Look out for the next food stop.
I thought you were going to make it to Buc-ee's.
I don't know if we can make it to Buc-ee's. How long is Buc-ee's?
You have a message.
Buc-ee's is, Buc-ee's is,
where's Buc-ee's? It's along this way?
227 miles away.
Yeah, no. You can have Buc-ee's for your dinner.
You can make it.
I can make it?
You can hold on.
I can hold on? Yeah, once you pull over.
But some of them peanuts.
I'm eating these peanuts. They're getting dry.
None of my shrimp
I didn't even know about it.
Good too.
I didn't know about it. You told me in the car at night.
You didn't look in the refrigerator?
No. I came home, took a shower, and tea.
They go play though. Shrimp too. Yeah. All the potatoes in that one.
Everybody really is expensive on special. Because you could be a good showman, but it isn't a physical sense. And I've watched him with 350-pound men over his head and throw him out of the ring. He was the real deal. He was MAGA all the way. He said, I wish I got you. He said, I've always loved you. You know, we've always been friends. But he wasn't a political guy. And in the last 3 years, I'd say, he became really political. And he said, I'm so angry at myself for not doing it early. He was happy. But you know, he took a beating. When you look at the life that they live, He would wrestle sometimes 200 times a year. Think of that. I say, what do you wrestle every weekend? No, he says sometimes you wrestle every night. And it's hard to believe. But being a friend, I got to see his life a little bit. And his knees were in trouble, his back was in trouble. He was in such trouble, but he was great. He was a great man. He was an incredible showman, and he was really a great friend. And he was a great friend to MAGA.
Mr. President, you signed an executive order to help clean up the streets of America yesterday, help get homeless people into treatment. Can you talk about why this is a common sense approach to help make everybody safer?
Well, it is, and right outside we have some tents. I'm getting rid of them right now. You can't do that, especially in Washington, D.C. I talk to the mayor about it all the time. I said, you got to get rid of the tents. You can't have it. When leaders come to see me to make a trade deal for billions and billions and even trillions of dollars, and they come into this tents outside of the White House, we can't have that. It doesn't sound nice, but
you want to see peace in Ukraine. What would it take to force Zelensky and Putin to sit down together, maybe with you?
They can keep paying for the military.
It's going to happen, but it should have happened 3 months ago.
Mr. President, should Obama be...
Well, Harvard wants to settle, but I think Columbia handled it better. Harvard wants to settle, but you know, they have a very good judge. They have a judge who almost absolutely rule in their favor, even though it's our case all the way. But they have a very good Obama-appointed judge, and so they'll get a little kick out of that. But ultimately, we win their case. And the bottom line is we're not going to give any more money to Harvard. We're not giving any more money. They were getting $5 billion and $6 billion, $7.2 billion. We want to spread the wealth to other schools.
Are the people around you concerned about this?
Protect that, and they say we're trying to protect women, that this is a way for them to say, oh my gosh, girls, do not go out with XYZ, he is married, and he's, you know, it's a way to protect them. So that's the theory behind it.
Yeah. Tough for me to get too riled up about this one because it really doesn't apply to me at all, being married to a dude, but it's rough out there, and I have sympathy for some of the guys who might be victimized potentially by this, although guys also victimize women as well, and giving them some tools might make sense. I just think if it would be considered sexist in the other direction, it should be sexist both ways. We should be consistent.
Alicia, you have daughters and sons. What do you think about this?
Four boys and a girl. So all I can think about are all of our boys on this app, because they're all, you know, they're Gen Zers, so they're like, you know, 18, 19 up through 23, and I think about them on there, and I feel like it's unchecked, it's unverified, and I get the safety aspect. That part I understand, but that's where it ends, because women can be mean and resentful. So,
well, that's where it ends for us today, guys. What do you think? Leave comments for us on Instagram and tell us where you fall.
News exclusive. A pair of medical workers who blocked ICE agents from arresting an illegal immigrant in California are now facing criminal charges. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and that exclusive reporting from our own Bill Malugin, who we have the pleasure of joining us today. Bill, great to see you.
Hey, Sandra, great to see you as well. Happy Friday to you. I'm Bill Malugin here in Los Angeles. This is America Reports. This is reporting we just got within the last hour or so. The two suspects here now both facing federal obstruction charges, and law enforcement sources confirming to Fox News one of them was arrested earlier this morning.
Yeah, Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt, he's got the very latest for us live right now. Jonathan, what are we learning?
Good afternoon, Sandra. Well, this incident happened on July 8th in Ontario, about 30 miles east of Los Angeles. According to the criminal complaint, ICE officers were conducting, quote, roving immigration-related operations when they followed a truck that made a sharp turn into the parking lot of a surgery center. The officers then, quote, decided to conduct a consensual encounter with the three adult males who were inside the truck. Two of them ran. One, who according to the ICE affidavit was, quote, later identified as an illegal alien, ran into the surgery center, and that's where staff at the center got involved. Two of those staff, Jose de Jesus Ortega and Danielle Nadine de Villa, have now been charged for allegedly interfering and trying to block the ICE agents who followed the illegal immigrant into the surgery center. In the video, they could be seen and heard questioning the ICE agents' actions, what they are doing in the center and why they are masked. The complaint says de Villa, quote, wedged herself under Officer 1 and the target alien. And it says, quote, Ortega, who was still standing.
Lost the signal again.
I can't do it. What the believe?
Anybody in the water? Lake Oconee.
Are the ladies of The View scared they're going to get canceled? Well, I think it's long overdue because rumors have been swirling around the cancellation of ABC's outdated daytime disaster, The View. Okay, because it's a relic of a talk show featuring all of these biased liberal shills: Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, Alyssa Farah Griffin, and Anna Navarro. And they have been doing the DNC's bidding for far too long with its one-sided rants, celebrity pandering, and unfiltered propaganda. Fans of common sense are celebrating while the left is in panic mode. But that's not all. We're also exposing how the cast of The View melted down over the well-deserved cancellation of Stephen Colbert's Late Show on CBS, another DNC mouthpiece that finally got the axe for bleeding money and spewing bias for years. This signals the end of an era for these echo chambers, and good riddance is what I say. We're going to break down everything that's happening, share the reactions from all sides, and roll some of the key clips that I found online to prove why The View should be next on the chopping block.
Milk this cow.
Yes, I have a legal note. Do you have a legal note again? I do. Wow, another one. I have two legal notes. Ginny denied any conflict of interest between her activism and her husband's work on the Supreme Court.
Well, she doesn't talk to him at night.
That's my legal notes, but let me say this very quickly. Ginny Thomas has denied any conflict of interest between her activism and her husband's work.
You got a
I have a legal note. Trump denied Esper's claims about wanting to shoot protesters. I have a legal note. Simon Lviv denies serial fraud and said he would proceed with the lawsuit. I have a legal note.
You want to take this one, Joy, or you? Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime.
That's true.
Also, another legal note, Pete Hegseth's lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. He has denied any wrongdoing.
That's interesting. Pay off the witness.
Now that Trump has won, you say that you don't think cable news will ever truly cover him honestly again. Why?
Not even just cable news, no network.
Nobody, because they didn't do it before, so why would they do it now? They're scared to death.
What
He's the
about
president of the United States of America.
Have you watched The View?
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Sonny, I saw you have to apologize a couple times last week, so somebody's coming with some notes from
I'm
downstairs.
not apologizing.
Okay.
I'm making a legal note as an attorney of law.
Because you know we have a petty president, our incoming,
Yes.
that is going to be very litigious.
Who is litigious, but that doesn't mean that that's not a mistake.
Okay, so let's start with the elephant in the room. The persistent rumors that The View is finally getting canceled. These aren't new. They've been building since at least 2024, driven by plummeting ratings, endless backlash over the host's blatant liberal bias, and their nonstop attacks on conservatives. Okay? All day long, they rail against conservatives or Republicans or anyone that doesn't align with their talking points. Social media is exploding with posts like, about time ABC acts as that biased trash heap, or Whoopi and Joy are relics, cancel them already. And guess what? The truth is, ABC should pull the plug. This show is the #1 daytime talk show. That's what they say. Please. That's spin from desperate execs. Viewership spikes only come from controversy, not quality. And it's hit a 3-year low in real engagement. With CBS wisely dumping Colbert, it's time for ABC to follow suit and clean house. Think about it. The View has been limping along since 1997, created by Barbara Walters as a supposed platform for diverse women's perspectives. But over...
Barbara Walters created The View. I didn't know that one.
Barbara Walters had an affair with Louis Farrakhan.
Oh, yeah?
It's the bad. Let's see here.
We going to show, right?
That's good order right here.
What you got left on your
Let's
card?
take a look. Here you go, Mama crying on one side of the door, looking through the eyeglass, and there go Trump. Trump go lie. Trump is not fucking around, you hear me? He said you now, what was 2.7 plus 3.1 is 0.3, yes, 3. He wants 4,
That's good for Pringle.
he went $4 billion over budget and didn't even know it.
Oh. Huh?
The guy that's supposed to bring down the interest rate so we can get loans. That's why Trump said, wait a minute, don't buy nothing yet till I get this motherfucker to drop interest rates. And he went $4 million over budget on the building that he shouldn't have started building. I said, Trump, what would you do if one of your contractors went $4 million over budget? He said, I will fire their ass. He said it right in his face.
No.
Look at it.
Did you bring my cord back?
No, I figured you was gonna bring yours like you always do.
So we what you want? Where did I go?
Those are mine. Not yours, is it?
Are you sure?
Huh? No, they not. Just don't even play with it.
So you just bought one?
No.
So where's mine?
You didn't give me yours.
That's not what I asked you.
All right.
That's not
You
what
got
we
two
talking about.
sons, so I bought me a 6-pack.
A 6-pack and you didn't give me one.
They all over the house. Where you look, there's a cord.
But the question is, did you get me one?
I got the house a 6-pack. I put 2 downstairs, 2 upstairs, 2 in here. 2, 4, 6. So everywhere you look, there's a long ass cord.
So that means the wife didn't get one.
If you're in the house, you can have
And if
access.
I'm not?
But you can't take it out the house.
But you got yours out the house.
I put 2 in here, 2 upstairs, 2 downstairs.
Sound like 6 for love.
You see, that's what I'm talking about.
What you talking about? Because this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Should be for both of us.
Don't sound like it.
I can't plug it in, but one at a time. I guess I'm gonna have to connect to McDonald's.
Why?
Because Zaxby ain't got no fucking Wi-Fi.
Why you don't just use your 5G? Who you calling?
My signal weak.
You want me to turn on my hotspot?
McDonald's. Why I keep coming like that? McDonald's. McDonald's. Won't let me get into McDonald's. See, I ain't got the menu up there.
I know something's going on with my Amazon. Oh my God.
Log in.
You know your account number? What's that?
I'm trying to log in. Pull up your Wi-Fi.
This is my Play Store right here. I can't even get in there. And they got me at a 4G thing.
Because where we at?
Is that it right there?
Nope.
That's not it?
Nope. Nope.
Up.
Nope. Nope. Come all the way up. You ain't got no signal neither. Why don't we giddy up? See, I can't. No, again, you already know me. Signal strength is weak out here.
What you want to do?
Giddy up to a better signal.
Come on.
So it'll be nighttime by the time we get in that motherfucker.
No, they say we'll be there at 5.
Now, sitting here. I'm here. Trying to log in, see.
Mine is installing my app because I don't have Vaccine. You do.
It's crazy.
Alright. Is it on still on?
What? This
behind us.
This guy. Okay, maybe where you turn. Here you go. Find better. Yes. And there go the towel right there. But Metro PCS is probably not on. You got to pay to get up there. It's still logging in?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm talking about mine. Well, they great once they say logging in.
I'm still spinning.
Yeah, let's get it up. Bucky got an app? Probably do. They all got apps on. I can't believe this motherfucker still logging in. We in nowhere land. Forget it. Forget it. Forget it.
It's not coming up. Fucking that.
Yeah, it is right there.
Touch it.
You see it? Where's that? I don't. I'm trying to look. You see it?
I did the same thing. It came up, but it's not there. It's not there. When I touched on it,
Okay, look at this. It says Bucky gas. Hit that.
that's it.
No.
Upside, gas buddy, circle.
I can't believe they're not set up yet.
No, they not set up.
Shocked. Oh well, navigate. Let us know when we're stopping at next.
All right. Back on the road. Headed to Fayetteville.
People to believe it was an illegitimate president. That was the point.
Anna, just give me 1 second. Let me let Keith finish his point, and then we can continue. Go
I
ahead,
wouldn't.
Keith.
First of all, I wouldn't take
please,
the Lord's
just-
name in vain on
What do you
Saturday.
have? Scott Jennings literally wiped the floor with these people. This video is brought to you by Synergy Life, brought to you by Synergy Life. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're sick of being... I just love it when he just destroys these people on TV. Like, I think that the arrogance and pompous belief systems of these people on the left, they think that they're winning. They think that somehow he's not destroying them every day on TV for some reason. Like, he comes across as very logical. He comes across as very educated on the topic. He comes across as very genuine. And out of everybody in the room, he comes across as the most researched. Like these other people are saying, I feel, I think, it should be, I think, I'm an emotional. But then when Scott Jennings speaks, he's giving fact at the 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 fact. So I want y'all to watch this because I don't want to belabor the point too much. Watch Scott Jennings literally wipe the floor with these people. Roll the clip.
But here's the scandal. Here's the scandal.
Oh, do tell.
No votes, you just said, and I think you're right. Maybe they tried. It had no impact on the election. The scandal is this, that high-ranking Democrats abuse their intelligence positions to try to convince half the American people and one entire political party that Russia stole the 2016 election. And they succeeded. Today it is an article of faith among Democrats.
How did they? I think, Scott, you have to actually back that up. How did they do that, in your opinion? I mean, you're alleging that there was a conspiracy led by Obama to say that Russia changed the votes, which they did not say. So what are you talking about exactly?
I'm telling you that the program was this. They were shocked that Donald Trump won the election. They couldn't believe it. And so these people, I don't know who is responsible for it ultimately, but it deserves investigation. Why don't you let me finish? These people wanted the American people to believe it was an illegitimate president. That was the point. I sat here night after night.
Let's all calm down. Let's simmer down now. Okay, listen. Is Marco Rubio in the Obama deep state?
No,
You're still in
but
first?
this
Is Marco Rubio in the Obama
You're
deep state?
conflating
How is that? Okay, let's just bring it back to the facts here. Is Marco Rubio in the Obama deep state?
Did he author the Steele dossier?
Oh, okay. Senator, Ambassador, let me go to you on this because there was a bipartisan committee that looked into this. That bipartisan committee was led in part by Marco Rubio, and they concluded what? What did they conclude? Was it that Russia interfered in the election, or that Russia did not?
Well, Russia interfered.
Well, let me stop it for a minute. I was going to let them keep going, but like, this is they are sent the memo to say, here's your talking points about this topic. 100% they're sent the memo. Here's your talking points about this topic. Because why are all of them saying the same thing that Obama is saying that have nothing to do with nothing? It does not matter that there was a joint intelligence briefing, or not intelligence briefing, but that there was a joint investigation done and it was determined that they did interfere, but it was inconsequential. That is not the issue that we're talking about, because Russia interfering in the election is not an issue. It's not a national issue. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. They said that Trump worked with Russia to interfere in the election. They said that Trump was working with Putin to interfere in the election. That Donald Trump was responsible for allowing them to do certain things, and they worked together and they're having meetings and colluding with Russians to steal the election. Then they also said that they don't want to repeat that he did steal the election. They got on television and said that there is evidence that it affected the outcome of the election. They mentioned it 100%. And it's not about that. It's not about the investigation. It's about the fact that they were briefed that there was no there, and they did an investigation anyway, which yielded the results that everybody knew were the results. That Russia may have interfered, but it had nothing to do with the election, and Donald Trump had no involvement. Let's get back to the video.
Okay. So is Marco Rubio?
It didn't. But what do people believe? What do people believe?
So hold on a second. So is this about what the intelligence community concluded, or is it about what you think the public believes? Are those two things the same, or are they different?
Abby, why would they believe it if they weren't told that by their government? If you are accusing people
of crimes, okay, you might want to have your facts in order, because you can't. Hold on a second.
That's what they tell you.
You cannot criminalize. You cannot target people with the law.
I think it deserves investigation.
By saying that they authored an assessment that says in plain text what Russia. Hold on a second. It says in plain text what Russia did in the election, and then you want to punish them for what people believe?
Yes, I want to punish them and investigate them.
That is absolutely wrong.
Leading the United States down this ridiculous black hole.
Two points. One in response to this guy, one about the whole conversation. First of all, in the last segment, Scott was complaining because the Wall Street Journal was reporting factually based sourced argument, information, factually based sourced information, and now he comes on making wild accusations with no factual basis. So there's a hypocrisy there. Wait. You just spent the last half hour, Scott. You spent the last half hour monopolizing.
Anna, just give me 1 second. Let me let Keith finish his point, and then we can continue. Go ahead, Keith.
First of all, I wouldn't take the Lord's name in vain on
what do you have?
He mentioned Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and I gotta say something. I don't understand how the point is not very clear and succinct. Nobody's talking about the investigation into Russia interference. Russia may have interfered in our election. That's not what nobody was talking about, and that's not. Was Donald Trump involved in it? That's the whole point. Was Donald Trump involved in it? Can y'all get to the point? God dang it.
Pretty much. So
secondly, give us a moment.
Secondly, and this is the point that I think is the larger issue. This conversation is exactly the conversation Donald Trump wants us to be having. He doesn't want us to talk about the Epstein scandal. So he threw up Tulsi Gabbard to bring out this old, unsubstantiated charge against Barack Obama, who was 3 presidents ago, to get Scott Jennings on national television, to get his base talking about that issue. It's all part of Donald Trump's plan, and Scott's playing right into it. We should be talking about how the Epstein scandal is preventing Congress from doing its job, preventing them from talking about jobs and healthcare and education and affordable housing, preventing them from doing the American people's work. But Scott is working with Donald Trump to get you talking about Barack Obama, who's not even the president.
Caroline,
well, I would argue that Democrats are really, I would actually argue that Democrats are really having a heyday with the Epstein scandal instead of focusing on the things that matter like inflation and even the Medicaid reform if they really want to go there. But I think we're getting a little confused about what this Russia bombshell actually is. It's saying
you have a message
of the Russian collusion hoax because he fed fake intelligence to the media, which served as a basis for multiple smear campaigns against the
What exactly was he the architect of?
He's the one who gave his officials gave the assessment to the media that was derived from the discredited Steele dossier.
What did the assessment say?
The Steele dossier?
What did the assessment say? The IC assessment, what did it say?
The assessment was derived from the Steele dossier, which said that Trump was accused.
What did it actually say? Not what is it derived from. What did it actually say? What was the conclusion of the IC assessment?
I'm not going to regurgitate it verbatim.
I've said it 1,000
conclusion was that the Russians tried to meddle in the elections, that they had done all sorts of things, but that there was no evidence that they had changed the result.
That they changed the votes. That is not what it said.
If you don't know
but also
in any case.
Also, listen.
In any case.
This though.
Yes.
Okay. So we are here saying, or some of you are saying that high-level Democrats were trying to get half the country to believe that Donald Trump had not legitimately won the election. What I saw was Barack Obama greet then President-elect Trump in 2016 at the White House. I saw him properly transition with the Trump team. I saw him be at the swearing in of Donald Trump. I did not see him trying to lead an insurrection and fan the flames or stop the way that the House was going to certify the election. What did Donald Trump do when Joe Biden won? None of those things. None of those things.
I can make excuses for it.
I just said
okay.
What I said to you was
Scott, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but hold on a second, guys. We really have to go to break. But we have to go to break.
Donald Trump did not treat Joe Biden.
All right, what a mess. What a mess. I just get so sick of these people being so fake. The question, the whole thing is, Obama was briefed that there is no serious, legitimate interference from Russia in the election. There is no evidence that Donald Trump colluded with them to do anything substantial in the election. They knew that there was nothing there from the beginning. They knew that the findings would be that Russia interfered but wasn't substantial at all. They were briefed about it. They were told about it. Intelligence briefings were concluded that there was nothing there before they ever decided to push the propaganda that Donald Trump was involved in stealing the election. The end. What are we talking about? It's not about that. They're trying to say that, well, Obama was right by starting an investigation because Russia did interfere, and it came out in a bipartisan way that they interfered, but there was nothing changed in the election. No, they were told before they ever started an investigation, and then they lied to the American people. They conjured up a controversy. They believed in dossiers that were not true, and they knew it wasn't verified when they used them to get a warrant and all this other stuff that they did. So he lied and was deceptive initially with all the evidence that said what the conclusion had concluded already. All right.
The truth about politics, because I don't want you guys living under the spell of culture just because everyone else thinks it. We think things through. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Part of why I'm happy is I have a pretty good confidence that what I think is close to reality. I'm not going to be right about everything. There's a lot of speculation, but there's a lot of tactics going on out in media. And just because millions of people believe something doesn't make it right. So we're going to start, and I'm going to give a number of examples here, but here's a great example where Candace Owens is getting slammed for saying that the France President Macron is married to a man and people don't want to hear that he's married to a woman. This is going to play into a whole lot of things, but there's a big difference between us making fun of Macron, having fun with calling his wife a man. It does not in reality make her a man, even though everyone starts to believe it. So Candace Owens goes out, flat out calls her a man, and now she's going to face a lawsuit. I don't know how much damages there's going to be, but she's going to lose, because you may not want to hear this, but Macron married a woman and not a man. Here's Stephen Crowder on that reality.
Were you then made aware that this was perhaps incorrect, and did you exacerbate it and make it worse? That's what this is going to be about. Candace responded by, you could say, doubling down.
You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick, however you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up? Raising your children. That would be fine.
This is similar to the challenges that people make to Michelle Obama. Now, you guys have heard me joke, secretly or on the side, that Michelle Obama is a man. That does not make her a man. Okay, Joan Rivers came out and said she was a man. That does not make her a man. And there's a difference between an internet joke and doubling down on something that is criminally liable, So you'll hear me joke about Hillary Clinton killing people. I don't believe Hillary Clinton murdered people. Some of you do. You might think that because it's all over the internet that it's true. And I'm only saying, I think we need to keep our minds open. I don't want you to live in a mental slavery that's just following half of the internet that tells you everything, and then you double down on it and comment on it. And I'm also not here to try and correct the whole world either. You know what? A lot of people can believe a lot of different things. But really, conspiracies and those things, I have a special anger toward, because I think they mislead a whole lot of people. So here you had Candace Owens say, just produce pictures in your childhood to Macron's wife that shows that you were a little girl, or shows that you raise your kids. Those are similar things that we've said about Michelle Obama, by the way. And here's Stephen Crowder.
Yeah, so here's the problem, and if you read the entire filing, and I read 100-something pages of it last night, they actually already did directly send proof to Candace, said pictures, childhood pictures of Bridget.
Okay. So you're going to see right there in the middle is young Bridget in her little child thing, her family, her children, her marriage, raising kids. So Candace Owens, I guess I feel bad for Candace Owens that she thinks that it is her job to convince the whole world that Macron married a man. I don't get the big win on that, but I get how it pays in clicks. You get a lot more clicks by saying those things. It's true. Doesn't make her wrong, but just means I don't get why she's so animated about this, that she would double down on this and put herself in legal jeopardy.
They did send evidence of Bridget's biological motherhood of 3 children. They did send pictures of her first, of her wedding when she was young. And there already is sworn testimony, for example, from the children and from the, I don't know if sworn testimony, but the previous husband. So she's now moving goalposts and saying, take a blood test. They did also, by the way, send the birth announcement, not a certificate, but an announcement. So newspaper clippings, pictures, sworn testimony, evidence, and this has all been provided to her for a long time. Now,
so Candace Owens got the evidence that she demanded, and she still went out in public and said that Macron married a man. Well, now you're going to get in trouble. And I don't know what's going to happen to her. I'm only saying at some point you have to come out in public, and she'll probably publicly have to apologize and say, Macron married a woman. Big news, shocking news, I know. But this is about where do you develop your ideas from? And so here's another example. We're all talking about, this is Democrats on CNN saying Trump believes that the election in 2020 was stolen. And then Scott Jennings is only using logic, saying Democrats believe the election was stolen in 2016. Those are true statements. that both, I'm not saying that in fact Trump won the 2020 election. I will say that there are very strange anomalies about that election, and I keep my mind open about that. And Trump is convinced that the election was stolen. And then those of us who talked about the election possibly being stolen, some of us lost our jobs. So we're going to talk about real damage at the end of this thing that Candace Owens is going to face, real damages I have faced, and Scott Adams has faced also. So here's more on that conspiracy, the two sides of our election stolen.
To go to break, but there is only one political party where the sitting president right at this moment still believes that he won an election that he lost. Okay, that's the only one guy. Okay, only one guy. So
the other party, the Democrats, really do believe that the 2016 election was stolen by Trump and the Russians. Even still, you can give them all the evidence you want, that even the Democrats didn't believe it. Now, my argument in 2020 or 2021, when I talked about Trump, was only, the main argument that I said was that what Trump is saying about winning the election is no different than what the Democrats have said about every election they've lost. They said that Bush stole the election. Remember, they called him the commander and thief in 2001. They called him that. And so my anger at YouTube and at the all of culture really was that they only cracked down and said it was dangerous when Republicans did it. Because I'm saying everyone does it when your guy loses, whether if it's true or not. It might be true that every single election's been stolen since the very beginning, okay? I'm not saying that, okay? I'm not against that. I'm only saying both sides claimed it, but only Republicans lose their jobs when we say it. Democrats get promotions when they say it.
Up next for us, we've got more.
Yeah, Democrats actually believe it. There's Anna Navarro. And they'll still go to their grave saying Trump is wrong and dangerous for claiming that he won the election in 2020. And I tend toward, free speech, let him have his place. Now, there's more, because now we're getting that Obama committed treason with the Russiagate things. You guys have heard me dance all around this too, and I do believe he committed treason. However, he also has the same presidential immunity that Trump had, that helped Trump win many of his lawsuits over the last 4 years that the Democrats ran against them. And if we try to run a suit against Obama, and I'm glad to call him treasonous and to prove him as treasonous, he's going to claim immunity. Here's Ted Cruz managing all of our expectations, going, hey, if you think Obama's going to jail, and I'll jokingly say Obama's going to jail, and I don't know for sure he's going to jail, Ted Cruz is going, look, he's got immunity to do this stuff. Let's listen in on Ted Cruz.
Member of the press today asked if, because of the Supreme Court's decision, John Roberts' decision in the immunity case, could Obama, it was basically implying that Obama has no vulnerability here in an investigation. Briefly describe why that's not accurate 100%.
Look, it is challenging what the Supreme Court has said in the immunity cases. Official decisions are protected by official immunity. So it's clear, for example, Barack Obama ordered a drone strike on Anwar al-Awlaki, an American citizen. He cannot be prosecuted for that because that was an official action. That's what the Supreme Court said. By the way, FDR could not be prosecuted for dropping atom bombs on Japan. Truman could not be prosecuted. There's a whole host of actions. Rather, Truman for dropping atom bombs, FDR for detaining Japanese citizens. Internment. The point is, official decisions of the president.
So was December 9th an official decision?
This is December 9th when the intelligence community came to Barack Obama and said, we do not have enough evidence to say that Trump colluded with Russia to win the election. Okay, and Obama said he had an emergency meeting saying we're not rolling out that. We're rolling out that there was enough evidence that Trump colluded with Russia. And now the question is, was that an official presidential decision? If it is, it's covered with immunity. And if it's not, then it's not covered and we can prosecute him for treason.
It's a hard
look, there would be an argument about it. I'll tell you.
He's not going to be prosecuted for treason. But it's not going to happen.
He's not going to be prosecuted in all likelihood for treason, but where the criminal liability will start is with members of the Obama administration who went under oath before Congress and lied. Flat out lied. We know Jim Clapper has lied. repeatedly, and that will be the beginning of the investigation. Also, fabricating evidence. That investigation needs to play out. This is a very important new trove of information Tulsi Gabbard is
Ted Cruz danced around it, and I won't dance around it. He said, the Obama administration, they rolled out, Clapper, the FBI, CIA, all agree, John Brennan, all those guys. First of all, you have to get the presidential pardon, blanket pardon of them removed. But and even then, treason doesn't always apply to that. You might be able to still get them on treason. But Ted Cruz did say you can go after them, but he implies you ain't going to be able to go after Obama. This is easily going to fall within his presidential duties. An official presidential thing that it may have been a mistake, right? And it was a lie, but he is allowed to make that mistake and tell that lie. That's what presidential immunity means. You're immune from your official statements, even when they're wrong. Now, this is part of how I try to find the truth, is you use logic. And we're going to watch Tulsi Gabbard and Charlie Kirk here using logic to try to find the truth about, and this is very interesting to me, I like this argument a lot, about the claim that Russia was helping Trump win the election. They have a great logical argument against it. And here's an example of some great minds thinking out loud. Watch this.
That says that Russia did interfere with the election. And some people would say that, well, there was a 2019 report that says Russia did interfere with the election. You're not debating that. You're not contending that. You're saying, but they were not interfering to help Trump. Can you please elaborate on that and push back on some of the criticism?
So most of us will agree that Russia very well could have interfered with the election just to create chaos. They didn't do anything, by the way. They did something, but it didn't have a huge effect. As even Barack Obama's intelligence agencies agreed, it did not have an effect to sway an election. But they did come in and do something, push some buttons, bought some ads, created some basic conflict. Tulsi's claim is they didn't come in and create that conflict to help Trump and to damage Hillary. And that's true. And here's the logic behind it.
Yeah, Charlie, thanks. That is the important point here. And I think it should also be of note that this is where the critics of what we revealed are going to. This is where President Obama's team and Senator Warner and other members of Congress are going to that exact point. They're saying, hey, look, nothing to see here. Everybody knows and agrees that Russia tried to meddle in the 2016 election. I don't disagree with that statement. Here's the point of distinction, is that there is no credible intelligence that points to Russia or Putin meddling in the 2016 election in order to try to get Donald Trump elected, period. And I think one of the most significant pieces of evidence that was revealed in that report we released yesterday is the fact that Russia claimed to have very, very damaging information, high-level DNC emails relating specifically to Hillary Clinton's physical and mental health, and DNC leaders questioning whether or not, if elected, she would even be capable of carrying out the duties of the presidency. Russia had this. If they wanted to swing the election for Donald Trump, they would have released it in September, October of 2016 at a pivotal time to swing momentum into Donald Trump's direction and damage Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Now, that's logic, and that's how you do it. And Tulsi Gabbard is being brilliant. You can't argue with that. If Russia was trying to damage Hillary Clinton, they had the emails that we did a video on yesterday that proved Hillary was going nuts. She was on tranquilizers. She was mentally unstable, going through a lot of stress, couldn't answer questions. Her own campaign was very bad. Russia had that intelligence. And so if they were trying to help Trump and damage Hillary, they would have released it. They simply would have leaked it and made her campaign, made her loss even greater. Remember, everyone thought Hillary was going to win in 2016, and they could have really destroyed her with that, and they didn't. So that's logic. You just start going, how would they act if they really had that motive to help Trump? They didn't act like they helped Trump. This is excellent logic work, and this is part of how we help keep us from falling into the slavery of our times. People wonder, like, Doug, why didn't you believe the Russia hoax? There was a lot of good reasons to not believe the Russia hoax.
But I rarely hear the word raw. That to me would bother me more than anything else. Aside from that, Jesse, over the years, I'm sure you developed the same kind of hard bark. Over the years, you realize that when people say stuff like that, that means they're out of ammo. The thing to do if you think somebody is wrong is to marshal the facts, make an argument, here's why you're wrong. They can't do that, so they call names. It's silly. It's almost sad because it shows you they're not willing to develop anything, they're not willing to grow. Yeah. And we in the black community have a real problem with that, which is why we have so many problems, because somebody like myself, somebody like yourself comes out and say, look, the number one problem in the black community is not systemic racism. It's the large number of kids who enter the world without a father in the home married to the mother. It's a problem for America in general, but it's particularly acute in the black community, where 70% of black kids enter the world without a father in the home married to the mother, up from 25% back in 1965. And what's happened? The welfare state, launched by Democrat Lyndon Johnson in 1965, has incentivized women to marry the government and incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. And when I raise this, instead of saying, let's deal with it, why is it happening, I get attacked, which means it doesn't get solved.
Yeah. I was wondering, your message is for all people. It's for all people, but especially black people. And if they were to listen to the message and follow a little bit of it, just some of it, their life would get so better. Has it ever bothered you that the blacks, not all, but most black people goes against the message?
Yeah, it bothers me because we're not going to improve the problem until we recognize we have it. A kid raised without a father, Jesse, is 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. Now, it seems to me, if that's true, I would want to know what I can do to reverse that, instead of attacking the guy that's bringing the message. Yeah. I was in Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump about a month ago when I dropped out of the race. We'll talk about that. And I endorsed him. And I told him that I ran as a mega candidate. And I said, I know we have a mega candidate. His name is Donald Trump. But I ran because you are not talking about some of the issues that are really affecting the country. Yeah. And if I can get you to begin talking about those, I would feel that my candidacy achieved its objective. And the number one thing I told him is the epidemic of fatherlessness. 40% of all American kids now enter the world without a father in the home married to the mother. 25% of white kids do, which was the same percentage as was blacks back in 1965. And I told him that a young black male, aged 13 to 43, Jesse, is 13 times more likely to be murdered than a white male, same demo. He was shocked. He said, do you have a source for that? I said, yeah, the Centers for Disease Control. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
And the number one cause of preventable death for a white teenager, or white kid, 19 and under, is accidents, like car accidents or drownings or drug overdoses. The number one cause of preventable death for a 19-year-old black male and under is homicide, almost always at the hands of another young black male.
Yeah.
Now, it seemed to me, if this is true, my reaction would be, good Lord, what are we going to do about it, as opposed to you're an Uncle Tom, you're a sellout, you're a bootlegger, you're just saying stuff for the white people. I mean, that's silly, and it means we're not going to solve the problem.
Yeah. Why do you think most black people reject the message? When they know, you know, they can look in their own family, they can look in the community, they see what you're saying is true. Why do they reject the message?
Easier to blame somebody else.
Yeah.
Easier to point the fingers at somebody else.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, and you're on the left, and you voted for all these Democrats that have kept pushing these policies, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh my God, what have I done? And that's just a bridge too far for a lot of people.
Amazing. I wanted to ask you about that, but first I want to know, how do you see America now? Things have changed in such a negative, for lack of a better word, evil, drastic way all of a sudden. How do you see America, and do you think we'll ever come back to being America again?
Jesse, I was in Boston in 2004 when this skinny kid with funny little ears, a name nobody could pronounce, full of charisma, came out and gave that speech. He was introducing John Kerry, who was a 2004 Democrat nominee. And he said, there's no red America. There's no blue America. There's just one America.
Yeah.
There's no black America. There's no white America. There's just one America. We are one. It brought the house down.
Amazing.
He decided to run for president. And his first interview on 60 Minutes, he wasn't the front runner yet, but he was gaining on Hillary. The correspondent said, Senator, if you don't win, will it be because of your race? Now, I was home by myself. I know what kind of answer Al Sharpton would have given, who ran for president and complained about racism.
Yeah.
Jesse Jackson ran twice and complained about racism. I know what answer they would give. I said, let's see what this man says. And Senator Obama said, no. If I don't win, it will be because I have not articulated a vision that the American people can embrace. I said, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Senator Obama was speaking at a black church. And he was talking about how much racism there is in America. Even people didn't vote for him said, oh, at the very least, I don't want Obamacare. I don't want my taxes raised. At the time, he criticized the war in Iraq. At the time, it was popular. I don't want that. But at least he will stop the nonsense about America being systemically racist and bring us together racially. Even people who didn't vote for him assumed that. The polls show that both blacks and whites thought race relations would improve. 8 years later, when he left, both blacks and whites thought race relations got worse. Because for the entirety of his 2 terms, it was race card after race card after race card, beginning with the Cambridge police acted stupidly. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
White police officer in Cambridge gets a call from a neighbor in the neighborhood and sees this guy push open the door in the neighborhood. Didn't recognize him as Henry Louis Skip Gates, who's a Harvard professor, whose house it was. Didn't recognize him. She called 911. Don't you want your neighbors to do that? Looking out for you? Cop shows up, sees this man in the house, doesn't know if he belongs to the house, and says, sir, please come out and show ID. And what did this guy do, who, by the way, is a friend of Obama? I'll come out if your mama tells me to come out. So the cop arrested him briefly. And instead of Obama saying, you know, last night, I talked to my friend Henry Louis Skip Gates. I said, Skip, what are you doing? You're a Harvard tenured professor, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
The big problem in America with these young black men is they're not complying. And instead of complying with a perfectly reasonable, lawful order, you copped an attitude. That's what Obama should have said. What did he say? The Cambridge police acted stupidly. And it ticked off police officers all over America, and that set the foundation for his criticizing the police time and time again unfairly. Then there was, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon, referring to Trayvon Martin. Okay, Trayvon Martin was shot and killed by a guy named George Zimmerman. Zimmerman stood trial for second-degree homicide. The jury found him not guilty. And those jurors who spoke to the media afterwards said race had nothing whatever to do with it. That's what started, by the way, Black Lives Matter. People think George Floyd started it. It didn't. That's what started it. So Black Lives Matter got started over a premise, and George Zimmerman wasn't even black. First they said he was white, then it turns out he was Hispanic and Cuban or whatever it was. Wasn't even, he was Mongol like most of us, mongrel like most of us, and he wasn't even white. That's what started Black Lives Matter. Then Obama said in an interview, racism is in America's DNA. The same guy who said we were 90% of the way there now says racism is in our DNA. His AG, Eric Holder, said, when it comes to matters of race, America has, quote, been a nation of cowards, close quote. And Eric Holder gave a speech where he talked about America's continued pernicious racism, his term, not mine. And one example he gave was voter ID. Most blacks support voter ID. He had Al Sharpton over the White House over 70 times. Al Sharpton is America's preeminent race car hustler who became famous falsely accusing a white man of raping Quanah Brawley. He was in the middle of the Crown Heights riots in 1991, where he said if Jews want to get their yarmulkes on, White House, let's get it on. And one Jewish leader referred to the Crown Heights riots in 1991 as the most serious pogrom in the history of America, and Al Sharpton right in the middle stirring the pot. I can go on and on about the many things he's done. So Obama had him over the White House over 70 or 80 times. And the end of his term, because of all this narrative about how bad the police are, a black man got a gun and murdered two officers sitting in their squad car in New York. Execution style, just popped them. Another black man in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, walks up to 3 officers, kills them execution style. Another black man in Dallas, Texas, execution style murders 5 officers. All these 3 black men either told people or posted on social media. The reason they did it is because of this notion, this narrative that Obama pushed, that the police are systemically racist against black people. And the data shows, if anything, the police are more hesitant, more reluctant to pull the trigger on a black suspect than a white suspect. They kill more unarmed white people every year. They kill more whites every year than they kill blacks. It is a lie. And it's a direct line between Obama, Jesse, and what happened beginning in May of 2020 when we had 4 months of protests over the death of George Floyd. Keep in mind regarding that, there were 25 people killed, millions of people who were protesting, a lot of property damage, $2 billion worth of insured property damage, maybe another $2 billion of uninsured property damage. Why? Over the assumption that Officer Derek Chauvin did what he did because of George Floyd's race. The lead prosecutor in that case was a black man. I'm a trial lawyer, and your most important statement on the trial is your opening statement, most important part of it, where you set the whole narrative. And he took pains, it was on television, to say the police in general are not on trial. He said most of them are doing a good job. They have a tough job. They have to make a split-second decision, life or death. It's hard. He said the Minneapolis PD in general is not on trial. And he mentioned some of the officers and officials he knew. He said this individual is on trial, what this individual did, and the black prosecutor never even intimated that what Derek Chauvin did had anything to do with George Floyd's race. And Derek Chauvin was never charged with hate crime. Yet you had all these people out there destroying property because of this assumption that what happened to George Floyd had to do with his race. Now, I don't know about the political affiliation of the people that were protesting, but I assure you, they would probably self-describe. If you ask them, are you liberal or very liberal, they probably would say, yeah, I'm very liberal.
Yeah.
The reason I mention that is that there is a website called policemag.com. And they asked people who self-described as very liberal, how many unarmed black men did the police kill in 2019? 50% of the self-described very liberal people thought the police killed 1,000 unarmed black men in 2019. 8% thought they killed 10,000. As to people that self-describe as just liberal, 39% of them thought the police killed 1,000 unarmed black men in 2019. 5% thought they killed 10,000. The answer, according to the Washington Post database, 12. 12.
Like 1, 2?
1, 2. That's the gap between what people think is going on and what is going on. Yeah. Which is why so many people are in the streets rioting, because they think this happens all the time when in fact it is rare. And just because you're unarmed does not mean you're not dangerous or reasonably perceived as dangerous. Michael Brown Ferguson was unarmed. He had just done a strong arm robbery, and his DNA was found on the officer's gun, meaning he was trying to get it. Right. So just because you're unarmed does not mean you're not dangerous. So there are very, very, very few instances of unarmed black people who are legitimately killed for unlawful reasons every year. There are more unarmed white people that are killed for unlawful reasons than there are blacks. It is rare for the police to kill anybody, let alone unarmed, let alone unlawfully. So you have all these people, young black men who are told otherwise, pulled over by the cops. Instead of complying and cooperating, they're copying an attitude. Yeah. And as a result, something is happening that otherwise wouldn't happen. My dad always told me, when you're pulled over by the cop, make sure your left hand is at 10 o'clock, your right hand is at 2 o'clock. Say yes, sir, say no, sir, say yes, ma'am, say no, ma'am. My dad wasn't a biologist, but he could tell a female cop from a male cop. Make sure your paperwork is in order. Right. And if you feel you're mistreated, get a badge number, and both of us will go downtown and deal with it. Yeah. Instead, black people are taught the opposite. They're taught cops are enemies, and they're out to get you. And as a result, they're not cooperating, and as a result, you're having far more violent encounters than would otherwise be the case. So I'm saying all this, in my opinion, is Obama. When he could have said something conciliatory, when he could have said something reasonable, when he could have said, calm the blank down. Yeah. It is not true. He went the opposite way. And as a result, in my opinion, he took the country in a way that made us far more divisive. After all, this bright, well-educated Harvard guy who grew up under the care of his white grandparents, thinks racism is a major problem in America. Thinks America is bedeviled by systemic racism. If Obama feels that way, it must be true. Yeah. And that's what he did.
Yeah, it's only gotten worse since then. It has not gotten better. Why do you think that you named the black mayors of the cities and all the successful blacks?
Governors.
Why don't they tell black people the truth about things? Why don't they say, well, look, you can make it. Here's how I made it. Why don't they tell the other black people? I think
there's some whites behind.
I think some of them are just hustlers, like Al Sharpton. He's not elected official, but Al Sharpton's just a hustler. Right. We all know he's full of it.
Like the mayor of Chicago, for example, right?
I just think he's an idiot. I just think he's just a very, very dumb person. I mean, how are you going to argue that the reason people are stealing is because of the lack of reparations? How are you going to make that argument?
Right. Well, you know better. I mean, you just know better. You're the mayor of the city.
We haven't had reparations. We haven't had reparations ever. All of a sudden, there's a spike in crime. It's because of the lack of reparations.
Why do you think they won't tell them the truth? Well, instead of saying it's the family, it's this and that.
Because they will be accused of blaming the victim, and they'll be accused of being a son.
And so, but do they care about that more than they care about helping the blacks?
I think part of it's power. I think that if Barack Obama were here and he heard what I just now said about him, if he were being honest, he wouldn't disagree with any of it.
Right.
Why did he do it then?
Yeah.
Why? Because he wanted to remain in power. The Democrats remain in power by convincing 90% of black people to vote for him. How do you do that? When they've destroyed the family, when they won't allow school choice. There are 13 public high schools in Baltimore, Jesse. 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. 0. Chicago, 53 government schools. 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. Yet the party elites, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, they have their own kids in private school while denying school choice for other kids. And the reason for that is because the largest funder of the Democrats is the teachers union, and they adamantly oppose school choice, while, by the way, having their own kids in private schools. There was a study some years ago, nationwide, 10% of American families have their kids in private school. 6% of black families do. In Philadelphia, 49% of the public school teachers with school-age kids have their own kids in private school. In Chicago, it's 39%. Out here at LAUSD, where you and I are, it's 28%.
Yeah.
So the people that know the school system the best, teachers, aren't putting their own kids in it. What does that tell you?
So then, why don't the blacks, not all, but most, why don't they think for themselves? Like for me, when I moved out here and I started hearing about racism, because growing up in Alabama, I didn't hear about this stuff. At some point, I started thinking for myself. I'm looking around at Jesse Jackson, all these people, they're doing well, their families are made, good jobs. And I started to question things. Why don't most black people question what's happening?
I read your book, From Rage to Responsibility.
Yeah.
And you began to think for yourself. A lot of black people just don't. They watch the same thing. They huddle around the same people. They complete each other's sentences. And so there's an echo chamber. In my book, As Goes California.
Amazing book, by the way.
Thank you.
And I'm black and I don't read a lot, but I went there.
Topic? The Golden Bachelor, specifically a comment made by Mel Owens, a former NFL player turned reality TV contestant, who sparked a bit of controversy after suggesting he wouldn't date women over the age of 60. Owens, who is 66 himself, explained that he preferred dating within a younger age range, 45 to 60, prompting a wave of opinions from the show's co-hosts. But while the rest of the panel was diving into the topic, Whoopi had clearly reached her limit. As the segment began, Whoopi introduced the topic using her now signature, Valley Girl accent, a tone she typically reserves for subjects she finds boring or ridiculous. It was obvious from the jump that she wasn't thrilled to be spending airtime dissecting the dating preferences of a retired football player. Co-host Joy Behar tried to spice things up by relating to Owen's preference for a younger partner, joking that she'd prefer someone not only younger, but potentially a compatible organ donor. Her wit, however, didn't do much to keep Whoopi interested. Sarah Haynes chimed in next, taking a jab with a sarcastic remark about men seeking younger women for superficial reasons. No, they want her for her boobs, she quipped. Alyssa Farah Griffin added her 2 cents, saying that it's sad to see a man in his 60s still behaving like a guy in his 20s, with a dating range that oddly excludes women closer to his own age. Then Sonny Hostin declared Owen's statement ridiculous, which seemed to be the final straw for Whoopi. As the conversation dragged on, Goldberg's body language said it all. She slowly slumped down in her seat, resting her head in her hand, and eventually, she laid her head directly on the Hot Topics table, eyes closed, totally done. Whether it was boredom or mockery or a little bit of both, it was a moment that didn't go unnoticed. The camera cut to her just as she was in full nap mode, and Joy Behar hilariously called it out. Whoopi took a nap during that one. She took a nice little nap. Whoopi didn't deny it. I did, she admitted with a laugh, owning the moment with her usual candor. But she wasn't quite finished. Before the show went to commercial break,